There is no hood like Parenthood. Hi, I'm Kanika Chadda-Gupta. I'm a former CNN journalist, mom of 3, including twins, and host of That's Total Mom Sense, the podcast. Now, if I had $1 every time I heard, gee, you have your hands full. On my show, I interview change makers on their life lessons, legacy, and superpower of intuition, which I call our mom sense and dad sense. I've had the privilege of working with Mom 2.0, March of Dimes, and the White House, and have had some pretty amazing parents on my show.
Hey, what's up? I'm Kelly Rowland.
Hi, this is Chelsea Clinton.
It's me, Bobby Brown. Can't wait to share my story.
That's Total Mom Sense is a production of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube so you never miss an episode. To join my tribe, visit that'stotalmomsense.com and follow me on Instagram at Kanika Chadda-Gupta. Now let's dive into today's episode.
Gabrielle Blair. I've been writing online as Design Mom since 2006. So I am an OG. Yay. OG, that's 19 years. I've got 6 kids. I wrote Ejaculate Responsibly. Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Now in 12 languages. My most recent book is a parenting book. I'll be doing a workshop on that tomorrow. I live in France. I do renovation. That's me.
I think so. Hello. Okay. Hi, I'm Shannon Doherty. On social media, I'm at home with Shannon. I started posting from my home during the pandemic. I really didn't have much social media prior to that, and the rest was history. I just started sharing my life as a mom and trying to be as authentic as I can. And I got to go on television. I've been doing that for 2 years now on the Today Show and Live with Kelly and Mark. And every day I'm learning about being a mom and a content creator. So I am very excited to share that with you guys.
Woo. Hi, everybody. I'm Tina Cartwright, and I am a proud Black mom of 2. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. My 6-year-old's going on 55. I know y'all understand if y'all have toddlers. And I had the pleasure of creating something super personal called the brand Rebranding Motherhood. And really, that was my opportunity as what I consider a brander to really approach the situation of how we're all getting into this place, right? Why is motherhood so hard? And to me, the answer was eradicating the sanitized imagery of motherhood. So that's what I do on my brand. And then I also launched Rebranding Motherhood Consulting, and I help clients, brands, and partners to be able to do the same within their platforms. So thank you, everybody. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you.
And my name is Meredith. You can find me online as Babies of Steel. I am a short-form video creator. Primary is TikTok for now and Instagram, and I make short-form video content about my experience as a full-time working mother of 2, with my content focus independent of my children's existence. And I live in Maine.
Awesome.
You're so far from us.
Right? Thank you. So parenting content is so ubiquitous, and we see it on social, on podcasts, newsletters. We all are our own personal brands. What do you think, Gabrielle, I'll toss it to you first. What do you think is driving this shift, and how have you personally seen the audience evolve over time and the content that they're craving change?
I think it's working now. Hooray. The shift is being driven because the world is changing so fast. It's changing rapidly, faster than it ever has in the history of humankind. And the things that we used to be able to rely on, that we all grew up with, we kind of were given this, like, here's this reliable path to success. If you go to this school, you'll get into this college, then you'll be able to get this job, and you'll be able to buy the house and have the kids. And that's just not true for a lot of people anymore. And the world is changing so rapidly, and our job, well, our audiences are kind of grappling with that change, and our job as content creators is to adapt our content and help our audiences grapple with that change.
That's great. And now let's debunk some myths with Shannon. With so much parenting content out there, we've seen a lot of the misconceptions, and the influencer lifestyle isn't real. It's just not real. So tell us how you can create meaningful work while being authentic, and what's something that people, I feel like, misunderstand about the reality that is your life too.
I think with social media, and especially my page, if you guys follow me, which I hope you do, I have to be authentic. I'm a busy mom. I have 4 children. 2 of them are actually here with me, which I think speaks so much. They're in the back. 2 of my little boys. And I think it speaks so much to myself. You know, on social media, we think we have to uphold this perfect standard. Oh, she's a mom of 4. Her hair's great. She's held it together. But I find so much vulnerability and appreciation from my community when I share things like, oh, I had anxiety to come on this trip this weekend and leave my family of 4. So you know what? I booked my 2 boys tickets and they came with me last minute. And I shared that, and I had so many moms reach out to me and say, wow, like I feel the same way so many times. Like that makes you so relatable. Or you find me doing a craft and my hair is sort of a mess and my craft does not come out perfect. And I think that that's what people like to see, because they can see themselves in me. They can see, you know what, she's just trying her best, and that is all that matters. So when I scroll social media myself, I always feel attracted to those moms that I relate to. You know, that perfectness is not what our society wants anymore. I think everyone can really see through it. And instead, people scrolling just want to feel like you're them. Like they can relate to you. And the people from brands, like brands are also moms. They're also people that want to be able to relate to you now. I think that shift is happening. So my most important advice for you guys is just be yourselves, because that's who will connect with you and want to work with you, and you will build that community through those imperfections. And that's what I'm most proud of on my page. So be yourself.
That's great. Thanks, Shannon. And I think we can all just breathe a sigh of relief around that. It's like, you don't have to get camera ready.
I never am camera ready, ever.
It's just get the phone on the tripod and start filming. Just do it.
Throw your hair up, a little lip gloss.
Yeah.
Secret to my success.
You're good. Okay. So now building community and meaningful engagement. I want to share how I actually hosted an event for Women's History Month in New York. And my guest, she is a tech leader. Her name is Upasana Gotham, very, very prolific. She shared how your audience is online. Your audience is online, your community is offline. It's like, wow, that really just resonates. So Tina, you have built a strong, robust, loyal community. How can you do that? And how can those in the audience kind of take a cue from the lessons you've learned, pitfalls, and what worked?
I love this question. I think, for me, one of the things that's hurting all of us in this room is perpetuating this imagery of perfection, of things that aren't authentic. And frankly, in community, that doesn't make anybody feel safe. And one of the lessons I learned very quickly in building deep community is really taking a lesson from my therapist, which is safe relationships, you can bring all of yourself, every single part. And so really it's interesting, this point around your audience is online and community is offline. I treat them the same. And I actually have a very different strategy with my brand and the way we show up in the media and where we show up in the world, where I am very deeply curating authenticity. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is really getting specific on the pain points that your audience is struggling with. And how can you provide storytelling, imagery, and just frankly, a realistic perspective of how you're also dealing and experiencing that same thing. So with rebranding Motherhood, for us, like community is really starting and stopping with like, why is it hard to be a mom every day? Why does society make it so hard to be a mom? And then bringing that into what we're creating resources to actually educate and support. Of course, I share my opinion, but the thing I like to share the most are experts, like the people you see on the stage, and their research and back understanding to actually teach moms the things they need to have to advocate for themselves. Because that's where the real power comes, is if you can join a community, feel support, that's mission 1, but then also gain even more power than you already are coming into the space with, and having the words, the lexicon, the research to be able to articulate what safety looks like for you, what safety looks like for your family, and allow you to live in your most truest self. So that's my take. That's my hot take today on community.
That's awesome. Love it.
Thank you.
At That's Total Mom Sense, we celebrate family, culture, and the everyday moments that matter most. And that's why I trust Lexus. Their cars are designed to make every journey unforgettable. This AAPI Heritage Month and beyond, Lexus honors the strength and stories of our community. Because when luxury meets legacy, the standard is amazing. Head to Lexus.com and follow Lexus USA on social media to find your next adventure. I want to just see by show of hands, how many of you are creating content regularly, whether it's short form, long form, podcasters, media? Wow. That's, more than half the room has their hand raised. And then how many of you have had to deal with negative comments, trolls? Yes. Okay. Basically everyone who had their hand up the first time. So we've all been there. Meredith, can you tell us how we handle them? Because that's like a slippery slope. But one thing that I shared offline with you is if you have trolls, that means you've arrived. Like, that's a good thing. Because there's that many people who have, opinion about what you're saying or doing, and they want to chime in, and they're following you. So, Meredith, how do we deal with them?
If you are unfamiliar with my content, last year I made a video about Taylor Swift that went super viral in the wrong spaces. And virality, when it happens, goes outside of your intended audience and can be a terrifying space to exist in. And to Brene Brown's point, it is terrifying to open your phone to a video of you that you did not post. And so, also, this is my first time speaking, and I'm very nervous, so I have my notes. But I became the poster child for cringy millennials, and it's been a year and a half, and I still get comments that would make your skin crawl. And I think a really important element is making sure that you have a community offline to bounce those things off of, and especially a fellow creator. Because sometimes if I go out with my mom friends at home and I'm like, oh my God, and somebody said they were gonna kill me and rape me tonight, and I'm like in a DM, to me, that's so common that it doesn't impact me the way it probably should. But talking to another creator that I feel safe with who also fields those things, I can have a more comfortable conversation with them in a way that feels safe for me. So talking about it with people that you love and trust. But to that point, this is a little bit of an awkward point, but I do not post my children on my page, and I am quite passionate about the fact that I don't believe that children should be part of content, and that they have a right to control over their own digital footprint, and that comes from a very real lived experience where, and please know this comes from a point of education and not judgment, because I know a lot of people in this room probably do share their children, and I did because I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And I had someone very early on in my internet career steal content of my children and build an entire life for them online, which can be called role play or digital kidnapping, depending on how theatrical you want to be about it. And it was terrifying, and I found, someone sent me the page, and I found this whole identity built with my children, and I spent a good 18 hours scrubbing them from the internet. I pay a service to remove my personal information from the internet, and I think a lot of times the excitement of sharing things that you really love and care about can blind our judgment in a protective space. So being really mindful and having really stern boundaries about what you can trust the internet with, because you can't trust it with anything that you care about. And especially from a mom's perspective, it's really important to take care of the things that matter the most to you. And there are ways to share valuable life experiences and experiences as a mother without showing children. And Shannon and I talked about this backstage because it's obviously a divisive topic, and I don't share it from a place of judgment at all. But I think as the digital landscape evolves with AI and cyberbullying and all these spaces that are really dangerous for kids, I do think we have a responsibility as mothers to adjust the way that we share our lives to protect our kids. Because I have a therapist and a husband and friends and meds, and it hurts my feelings. So I can't imagine feeding my kids to those people who are just intentionally cruel.
Yes,
so that's the short answer.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for getting vulnerable and sharing that. And yeah, I'm so with you. I kind of do the same thing. I feel like if they're too young to consent, then I'm not going to make the decision for them. So I'm with you. Gabrielle, could you chime in on that? Because you have adult kids who
My kids were raised on
raised
featured on the internet. I think you really do need to think about your actual kids and what they want, and especially as they get old enough to have an opinion about it, and they will. My kids have often said they love that they can Google their name and find 1,000 pictures, and that they use them for different projects, and they think it's awesome, and their friends will sort of figure out that they're Googleable and like, whoa, why are there so many pictures of you? And like, anyway, they think it's kind of fun.
Mom's
it feels
famous.
Like they've had a good time with it. But of course, if you're working on a project and they don't want to be in it, then they shouldn't be in it. And I think it's fantastic that state by state we're starting to get laws put in place that are going to make sure these kids are compensated for their time, just like any child actor should be. I think that's fantastic and totally support that. If your kids are working, pay them. Like that makes a lot of sense. I know it can be really scary. The way I had to think about it 20 years ago is someone said to me, if the New York Times wanted to profile you right now, and would you name your kids? Would you show a picture of your family? And I was like, oh, yeah, definitely. Like, I would be honored. That's amazing. And a friend sitting next to me said, absolutely, I would never let them profile me and mention my family in any way. And some of it is just going to be your level of comfort with publicity. And know that that's going to be different for everyone.
Great, thank you.
And I would just say quickly,
yes.
There's also, if you do share your children on your account, because I do, and it's such a part of who my account is, I think my community loves seeing me in that mom role and doing those crafts with my family. That's who I am, and I think it needs to be shown through there. They come everywhere with me, but my account is about me. It's not about my children, and I think that that's a very big distinction. That is an important one, and I've always made it that way because my kids are only on my account when it's fun for them, when it's part of our life. It is not their job, and it's given us amazing experiences like Nickelodeon, Disney World, but the second they tell me they don't want to do it, they don't do it. And I think there's a very big distinction about an account about you and an account about your kids.
That's great. That's great. And then this is parenting content. So
yes,
that
exactly.
Makes so sense. Thank you. I wanted to ask you about just the trade secrets and the apps that you swear by, because we all need to be using technology to work smarter. And it's so important. I mean, I know I ChatGPT everything. So anytime I have a podcast interview, I'm like, okay, give me a great, summary of what this person has done. I listen to a lot of their podcasts and audiobooks because that's something that I can do as I multitask. And then of course I go back and refine and do my research. But it's a great starting point when you have a blinking cursor in your face. So ChatGPT is my bestie. What about you guys?
I love InShot. That's what I use for all my editing. And then I also am a ChatGPT fan, not only for when I'm looking up like projects for my account, but also when I'm helping my kids with their homework. Lots of ChatGPT over here. Love that app.
I mean, I will second that. So my video editing apps of choice are Splice, which I love, and a lot of my musician friends love it too, because it has a lot of dynamic capabilities. I also kind of like partner that and complement that with CapCut. Why? Because a lot of the video editing apps, when you put text on it, it looks like trash. So if you want clean, crisp, 4K quality text, use CapCut. That's my little tip for you. And then the last thing I would say is I love ChatGPT as well, but I'll challenge you all to use it in a way that's less transactional and more like your additional multifunctional team members, right? Think of it as your marketer, your CMO, your CFO, your chief operating officer, and use it to really synthesize your strategic approach to your business. Because I will tell you, brands that use it, or brands, people, creators that use ChatGPT transactionally, it shows.
We can tell those emails. They look...
it's always shows.
Yeah.
It always shows.
Totally.
ChatGPT also helps with captions.
Yes.
I meant to say that. If you guys need help writing, sometimes I feel like this caption, I want it to be long, whatever. It helps with captions and hashtags.
And then to that point is you get brand deals. You can lock it in at character numbers. So if you're like, the brand's like, okay, keep it to 100 characters for your caption.
Exactly.
So think of it too as like helping you to deliver briefs, helping you to deliver more specificity when you're working with brand partners, and take that stress off your plate, and then allows you to really be the creator and let it kind of tighten up what you're putting together.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, Meredith, yeah.
I will tell you my favorite app is an app called One Sec, which I talk often about. It is an integration that runs on your phone that retrains your brain to not seek dopamine from opening your apps. And I think, and I actually learned about it at a creator event. Mine currently makes me wait 80 seconds and practice French to open the apps. And I will say that I think...
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
C'était magnifique.
Yeah. But the point is that I think that we get caught in this cycle of what trend am I following? What is this person doing? What is this person wearing? What is this person sharing? And the easiest way to come up with content is to turn off your phone, which I know is counterproductive to this space because I really would like some views on my page. So when you open it, just visit me. But I think the best and most effective tool to creating content is not spending time on your phone, is building community offline, I sound like my mom, spending time with your family and reading a book. But I think One Sec for me is really impactful because I think there's no amount of editing or scrolling that is going to make you feel creative. And stepping away from that is much more beneficial, I think.
Love that.
I'm going to ruffle feathers on the AI for a second. I think, like Renee said, AI is much bigger than we even can understand. That it's not just these tools that we're using right now, that it's going to change our lives in ways we can't predict. And I'm married to a man who studies transhumanism, and he's been talking about this for 20 years, so I believe this very, very much. But also, I just found out last week that a company that's at this conference, I won't name names, but stole 3 of my books to train their AI, and I bet they've taken a lot of your work too, your artwork, your books. And the reality is these companies have so much money, and they could absolutely get permission and pay creators to train their AI. And I think a lot of creators, if they were being paid, would be willing to approach that. So I'd be happy to change and shift my opinion on AI if you show me a check.
Well, great. Love it.
Show us the money.
Okay, we are at time, but I wanted to just take a second to pay it forward because there's so many amazing creators and just talent in this room. So for us to shout out someone that we want to help support or that we follow or just swear by, and I'll kick it off. I have a friend who, she came to Mom Too. This is her first time. Her name is Mira Nair. Mira, are you here? Woo! Yay! Her brand is called Azaria, and it's custom vegan leather handbags. And just go meet Mira Azaria. And follow her.
Go find Natasha Nichols and Jeanette Kaplan. They're both here. They're staples of Mom Too, and they're amazing.
Yay!
Love Jeanette.
I'm going to tell you to follow my friend Danny Morin. I don't know if she's here, but she's amazing. She's pregnant with twins right now, and she shares baby products, safety, everything you need around that. And she just has an incredible story. She's a champion, so follow her, Danny Morin.
Thank you.
Oh my God, there's so many. I feel like I'm on the Oscars. I'd like to thank 25 people, but if I have to pick one, I would love to highlight my friend Paige. She's a page turner. I want to get her handle right. And what I love about her is it's so well articulated, it's so well researched, and that's the challenge. I love how Brene said this morning of like, really be intentional about who's in your feed and what requirements and caliber of human you expect from them. So shout out to my girl Paige, wherever you at, girl.
And I don't know if Sabina is in the room. She's not.
Sabina,
So
yes,
Sabina is, her objective is democratizing PR and helping lift other women up despite their financial barriers and, saying other women's names loudly in a room full of opportunities. And I think her platform is really important and her work is really important. So I don't remember her handle.
Sabina knows best.
Sabina knows best. There we go.
We all follow the
Lock
same people.
it,
It's
follow
amazing.
her.
So
Bye,
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of That's Total Mom Sense. You can listen to the audio version wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for That's Total Mom Sense. You can learn more about my guests by logging on to www.that'stotalmomsense.com. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, where I'm most active on social media. My handle is @Kanika Chadda-Gupta. And if you have ideas for show topics or guests you can't wait to have on the show, write to me at that'stotalmomsense@gmail.com. And lastly, please rate, review, and subscribe to That's Total Mom Sense if you haven't already. Thanks for being in my tribe.